And it is finally over. Giants fans can rest at a 4-13 final record this season. Final score of this game, Washington 22, Giants 7. And let's just say we're sitting tight waiting for Joe Judge to be gone as head coach of this football team, the both of us. I welcome you in to another episode here of the Giant Take podcast. My name is Josh. If you are new, we do previews and recaps to every game, and we have these last 2 seasons of the podcast, although we've been around since last two Aprils ago, something like that. I don't know why I'm giving you the back history of the podcast. Anyway, during the off season, which has been actually the more important time for us because the 2 seasons we've been covering the team on the podcast, 6-10, 4-13. Pretty freaking unproductive. So we have a lot of off-season content coming, especially this week with hopefully the GM search as Dave Gettleman, again, we hope, big word, keyword, steps down and retires or whatever he wants to do from the position so we can look at GM candidates. If I was the GM, part 2 is hopefully coming out this week. My power rankings in the NFL heading into the playoffs should be coming out this week. Our Giants season recap should be coming out this week. It's crazy. We got a lot of content coming. So just check out everything that's on the podcast platforms that you're listening on and on the YouTube channel, the Giant Take podcast on YouTube as well. So without further ado, let's bring in my co-host, Alex. Alex, how are you, man? How is your watching of this absolute sensational type of performance from today? 7 points, a good 1 touchdown from Jake Fromm, his first in his NFL career.
It was great. You know, I loved watching some football, if you can call it that. It's great that the season's over. That's all I'm going to say. I'm glad it's over. I'm looking forward to the off season, assuming that there's going to be new house in charge or a clean house, hopefully. In terms of the game today, I mean, it was a train wreck, kind of like the last 3 or 4, or however many weeks it's been. I've gone numb at this point to how many weeks it's been of this terrible, whether it's quarterback play, offensive play, basically ever since Daniel Jones has gone down. And really this whole season has been a train wreck, even when he was still playing. It's been tough, man. It was tough to watch. It's tough to be a Giants fan right now. You see in my background, that full stadium, MetLife Stadium was not like that today. There was $4 tickets, $3 tickets. Everyone was in the lower bowl because no one was sitting in the 200s, let alone the 300s. It was certainly an interesting day, and you don't see Giant MetLife Stadium like that often.
And yeah, I mean, the parking lots look pretty open, and I want to say, Alex, that it looked like Giants Fan Fest when we went over the summer. They were only filling up the lower bowl, and you couldn't go up higher than that. It looked like they were restricting people from going higher than that. Yeah, I saw people here and there. We saw wonderful trash bags on top of people's faces today. You also had someone have the unique idea of putting medium Pepsis on the side of their trash bag, which is just a great feature to add on. I mean, why not make John Mara even more happier than he is, not seeing fans in attendance, not making him that moolah, that cash money. And then you had Dave Gettleman on his phone that they showed on the Fox broadcast is what I took it as. He was probably reading and responding to all those goodbye text messages that he was getting from everyone in the organization. And, that or was probably responding to some tweets on Twitter about some hashtag, maybe retire Gettleman or something along those lines.
There is that Dave Gettleman account, it says parody account, but who knows? Maybe it's real.
It could very well be him on there. I mean, he's looking at his phone during the Giants game and nothing else to do, right? He's got no GM role to fill. Let's start with this game, Alex. I want to start out with Jake Fromm. He looks semi-productive in this game. Don't think about the fumbles and the interceptions, Alex. We'll save that for later. Just think about him on his legs today. Had at least a 20-yard burst in the first quarter, and I think he had the same in the second quarter as well.
Yeah.
Or the fourth quarter, whatever it was. 5 carries for 53 yards, led the team in rushing today. You didn't see Saquon Barkley getting 100 yards like he did last week because just like the whole rest of the season, it was downhill for him with 11 carries and 30 yards, 2.7 yards per carry. Just doesn't look good, man. Just doesn't look good. We saw Will Hernandez go down in this game early. He was out for the rest of the game. That could be his very well last snap as a New York Giant. Who knows?
Probably,
Who knows?
Yeah.
Right, probably. I mean, failed as a first-round pick for us. I think that's what he was, right? A first-round pick?
Very early second, like 34th overall or something, right? It was when we picked Saquon, so same year.
Okay.
Basically a first-round pick, if you think about it.
Basically a failure of a draft pick. Let's just say that. How about that? How about them apples? So, yeah, I mean, to say the least, that's what he's been. I guess you can go to Jake Glazer in the beginning, even before this game, in the pregame on Fox. He actually mentioned that Joe Judge wants Kevin Abrams to be hired as a GM, and I took that in my head as, of course he does, because probably Kevin Abrams will keep him as a head coach, and maybe other GMs that the Giants would hire wouldn't do that. And then Michael Strahan shut that down. He's like, no. So it looks like he's very invested still as a fan and as a former player of this Giants team, obviously having his number, retired this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so good for him to defend his team, right? His reaction was similar to many other Giants fans, including our reaction to that news. Let's go to... I talked for a little bit in a row here, Alex, so I want to let you take over. How about you talk about what happened on second and third down with a little bit of some QB sneak action early in this game, not in the fourth quarter like you would think?
I'll do a quick Joe Judge presser situation here so that everyone understands the situation. So right there, we were backed up in our own, inside our own 5-yard line right there. And unfortunately right there, we were unable to do any other play. We tried to dump it off to Eli Penny on a flat route. Jake Fromm, right there, he just didn't get the throw down. And unfortunately, right there, we just had to do a couple QB sneaks on 2nd and 9 and on, what was it, 3rd and 9. We just have to get those QB sneaks going because we need to get room right there for, Riley Dixon to hit a nice punt and for Cam Brown to make a nice tackle on the punt return, and, Keon Crossan doing an amazing job on the right there on the punt return coverage. So, we just had to run 2 QB sneaks right there, and that was just it right there.
And right there, I just didn't have trust in my team right there, as you can clearly see. We ran 2 QB sneaks in a row. No reason to try and dump it off to Saquon Barkley like I normally have the team do right there. Maybe have Kenny Golladay go up for a one-on-one down the field right there and have him get a touchdown. Who knows? Maybe he could have caught it right there and got a touchdown. But no. I have no trust in my team. This is week 18. I full on just give up. Mara, you should just fire me because, I just had 2 QB sneaks in a row on a goddamn 9 yards a game, right there.
And you know what I also love? Is, we're going to get to the press conference after, but Joe Judge in his press conference always says, I don't listen to the outside noise, right? I don't listen to the outside noise. But then today, there was a starking difference. How many times did he say right there? Probably 3, 4, 5 times. In his last press conference, he probably said it like 50. He listens, okay? He's listening to the that's bull that he's not
listening to the Giant Take podcast is what he's listening to.
I think so.
And you know what else he's listening to? Obviously, he's listening to or reading everyone on Twitter because he even went out and said clown show organization. Yeah. He used those words, clown show organization, all next to each other, which has been in so many tweets. And he's probably seen that all those Giants fans have changed their profile pics on Twitter to him in a clown mask, or just tweeting out the photo of when he signed with his team and everyone photoshopping Gettleman and Judge. And
that'll be the thumbnail of the video. So
that is the thumbnail of the video. I mean,
the thumbnail.
Right. So it's crazy. And like you said, we do have the press conference, some quotes. I don't know. Do you want to go to that one now? What he said about the QB sneak? If you have it pulled up. If not, I can stall for a little bit because I do have other stuff to talk about.
I can pull it up because he, right there we have, right there we're prepared. So don't worry. Yes, I will share my screen now and share the audio right there. So just right there.
And for everyone listening, it should be fine. Just on video, we got it pulled up.
All right.
Can you explain the thought process behind those 2 QB sneaks you guys ran?
Yeah, so we were backed up. We had a shot on the play action, get the ball out in the flat.
Right there.
Okay, we got to make the throw and hit the guy right there. Eli was open there. Would have been a good shot coming off the goal line there to get us some yardage and get some space. And then ultimately, look, we were backed up. I wanted to get room. We're going to push it on forward. I wasn't going to live through what happened last week in Chicago. So we're going to give ourselves room for the punt. We did that. We gave ourselves room for the punt. We protected it. We covered well. We played the field position situation I want to play. We held them on the next drive, and that's the way we want to go ahead and play that. Now, do we want to do that all the time we're backed up? No, but that was a situation of the day with where we were, and I want to make sure that, the things that we had issues with last week in Chicago, that was not going to repeat itself.
Alex, that's a definition of a special teams coach, if I had to say so. I mean, full-on definition of a special teams coach. If there's anything else that you want to say for that situation, I mean, I wanted to get room for my punter. Yeah, no shit. I lost the curse counter. Damn it. Yeah, I mean, like, what else would you want to put? then say I want to get more room for my punter because I'm a special teams coach. That's what I am at heart. And come on, can't say anything otherwise.
Really, for me, it's just a lack of belief in your players. It just shows, hey, I don't believe in these guys. I don't believe in Jake Fromm. I don't believe in Saquon Barkley. I don't believe in our offensive line that they can get the job done. From the 5-yard line, you'd think Saquon Barkley could get a yard or two, and you wouldn't have to risk it's not like he's your franchise quarterback, but you wouldn't want to risk your quarterback and have to put Brian Lewerke out there, who we haven't really seen in action. Maybe he's good, maybe he's not. We have no idea. It was really odd. It was one of the weirder things I've seen him do this season, and he's done a lot of weird things, don't get me wrong. But it seemed like today he was just fighting for his job. That's really what all the decisions told me. He did not want to get blown out, which he didn't. Well, he did, but he didn't really. And because if Washington put 40 points up against us and we scored 3 points again, I think then it would make the easy decision for Mara much easier than it did today, due to the fact that we actually scored a touchdown. Really, it shouldn't be, but from the looks of it, it's better. And I think Joe Judge knew this, and he's trying to save his job. You can't blame him, right? He knows he's under pressure. He knows what's going on. He knows the results aren't good enough, and he's just trying to protect himself. And I don't blame him, but it's frustrating as a fan for sure.
For everyone listening, I'm shaking my head, or I was shaking my head while Alex was talking, because honestly, whether Washington scored 40 and the Giants scored 0 today or not, before this game, Mara had enough proof or evidence to prove that Joe Judge should not be the coach next season. Should not be the head coach of the New York Giants, the New York Football Giants. It shouldn't happen. He shouldn't be. And you don't even need this game for your evidence to fire him. You could have fired him 4 weeks ago if you wanted to, but you would have allowed it. Maybe some people would have been a little bit upset, but they lost today. They lost again today. They only scored 1 touchdown today, and that's proof for me. That probably isn't proof for Mara, because Judge will probably be on this team next year. But you know what? That's proof for me, and that's proof for a ton of other Giants fans out there. And even some insiders, too. I mean, I was seeing, New York Post writers, I forget the guy's name. I saw
Paul Schwartz.
No. It wasn't. It was a book writer.
I
don't remember his name exactly. Yeah, I'm sure.
I think I know what you're referring to.
Yeah, because Lawrence Tynes then retweeted and said the same thing. Like, I'm not in the Joe Judge boat anymore. So you even have former New York Giants admitting it. He's done. He should be done, right? We should not have to see Joe Judge back here again next season. A few other things. Dave Gettleman was actually done taking pictures, because he took some before the game, which what it seemed like, with friends and family on the sideline. Let's see what else I have here. Oh, we had a 4th and 1 chance in this one. But whatever. Repetition at its finest. We had Alex Bachman motion left and motion right, and then get absolutely stuffed. Get absolutely blown up, man. The guy had no space to run. Again, I was watching the game with my dad, and Alex, you actually were phoned in for this second half-ish of the game. The fourth quarter, you were phoned in with us, and we were all talking. But this was before. I think it was in the first half. And I told my dad, I said, you know what, Dad? Freddie Kitchens, he's really making a good point here. Freddie Kitchens is really making a statement. He's making a big statement tomorrow about how he should get fired from his job as the offensive coordinator. What is my man doing? It looks like he wants to be on another team next year. And it's the same thing with Judge, with these calls to do two QB sneaks in a row to give his punter positioning. Tell me you're trying to get your job, trying to get fired from your job without telling me you're trying to get fired from your job. That's a way to do it, man. 2 QB sneaks with 10 yards to go on the play. How else can you tell me that you don't want to be here next season? What an
Kenny
awful
Golladay
call.
Doesn't either. Kenny Golladay
doesn't. Oh my God, man is sleeping. Man is ready to go on his next boat trip in Miami, because the guy can't even put his arms out to try and make that grab. And Judge, it was bad positioning. It was, it wasn't good there. It was 2 out in front of him, which I guess can be alluded to as an insult on your quarterback too.
Yeah.
He didn't directly say that, but saying that the ball was overthrown there, that's throwing Jake Fromm under the bus.
Well, think about it this way. Kenny Golladay signed to a 4-year, $72 million deal. Jake Fromm won't be here next year, most likely. So I think, it was a calculated decision to not piss off Kenny Golladay, is what I saw it as.
Yeah, a few other notes I just want to mention here. We had Azeez Ojulari get his 9th sack of the season, so one bright spot on defense of a few bright spots. We had Leonard Williams got a sack, one of the rare ones this season. Same thing with Logan Ryan actually making a difference on defense. Let's see what else here. Oh, here's a good stat, Alex. You like this one? I'm sure you do. This is per Big Blue United. They were the first ones that I saw to tweet that out.
I know what this one is. Oh, no.
The New York Giants end this season without scoring a single point in the last 2 minutes of the half. And that means that they were outscored 79-0 in the final 2 minutes of the first half this season, which means if you didn't understand that, I'll just say that, repeat it in just my own words. In the first half this season,
at the final 2 half. Yeah.
At the end of the first half, the final 2 minutes of the first half, this whole season, the Giants didn't score a single point. Compared to their opponents that they faced, scored 79 points in that time span of the last 2 minutes in the first half. Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
It's just crazy. It's almost unbelievable, but it is believable if you've watched this team for 17 games, and unfortunately we have, so I can believe it. I don't even know what to say. I know another 3 were notched on the board today, right? At the end with the Joey Sly kick. It's just not good enough from everyone on this team. And defensively, we put up a decent shift out there defensively. I thought it was, when the defense went out there, they were fighting, they were trying their best. It's just it's so demoralizing. I can't even imagine because I'm not on the team. But I can't even imagine how demoralizing it is seeing your offense just go out there every time and just either turn over the ball, not make any progress, turn the ball over on downs, fumble, interception, not within the 10-yard line, not scoring a touchdown, whatever it may be. It must be infuriating to the defense and Patrick Graham. I feel bad for those guys, but yeah, it's just it's not good enough, right? This team, there's three aspects to the game of football, and when one isn't working, it's a big problem.
And Alex, you also have the quote from Jake Fromm about the second and third down. They were trying to see if they can, have him throw Judge under the bus, but they unsuccessfully did that. Unfortunately, I wish that happened. But while you pull that up, I'll talk about Jake Fromm a little bit because his stat line is just wonderful, right? He had a fumble in this game. Also, alluding to your point of just an abysmal offense, there wasn't a single Giants wide receiver that were targeted in the first half. 0. It was Kyle Rudolph. I think it was Joe Judge before the game said to Kyle Rudolph, hey, we signed you in the offseason to try and equal the amount of millions that we paid you. I'm just going to try and target you as much as we can in this game, okay? Maybe that'll equal your salary that we signed you to this past offseason in free agency. Will that do it? I don't think so. Jake Fromm, I'll go to his stat line because I usually do this towards the end. I think I already talked about 5 carries for 53 yards. And then throwing. He was 15 for 31 with 103 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and then I think that 1 fumble, right? And mind you, what a way to end this Giant season. Like a perfect way possible. A 4-13 season. What else should it end with than an interception? The last play of this game was it was such like a bittersweet moment, honestly.
Oh, it was interesting. And here's Jake Fromm on that. And we have the clip right here as the clip master myself.
What was going through your head when those 2 quarterback sneaks were called in the second quarter where you guys were kind of deep in your own territory?
Yeah, you're just situationally trying to give the punt team a little more room, and just whatever the call was, just going in and trying to execute the call.
Were you a little surprised by that, Jake? The third down sneak from your 4? Were you a little surprised by that call when I came in?
Yeah, I mean, just, whatever the call was, I was just trying to go in and execute, to get all the guys ready.
Do you think you guys had a chance maybe to pick up a first down there if you did not call sneaks?
Potentially, but, that's, it wasn't my call to make. I was just trying to make sure the 11 guys in the huddle knew what they were doing and going and execute.
I feel bad for him. I feel bad. He seems like such a nice guy. I think Joe Judge is in the corner pointing a gun to his head saying, you better not say anything about that because QB sneak.
They put him under pressure too, man. That was like 3 questions in a row, like bang, 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 like punches. What other quotes do you have here? Because I know I set you up with a few of them. You got Logan Ryan acting like he's a mini Joe Judge, and that's it, right?
I have the Logan Ryan. I can pull that up actually right now.
So this is basically just giving you a little bit context before we play it. I say a mini Joe Judge because Joe Judge likes to talk about, like I think Alex you mentioned in this episode, like he doesn't listen to the outside stuff, the shenanigans, or what is it? What is the word that he uses?
The outside world or whatever. I don't know what he says. The outside.
Logan Ryan
doesn't
says
address hypotheticals. Yeah. Well,
hypotheticals. Thank you. Yeah, Jordan, because Jordan Ron, I feel like is always behind these questions because he says it's Jordan at the end. He's like, I don't listen to the hypotheticals, Jordan. I don't do that right now, Jordan. Jordan. All right. Anyway, here's the quote.
Joe did get fired. What would you think of that?
I'm not going to answer hypotheticals when you ask me, next season or whatever. But I don't know.
Would it upset you if he got fired?
What?
Would it upset you? I mean, it's a non-answer. I mean, if your coach got fired.
It's a hypothetical question.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Joe?
He doesn't know. You gotta be fair. Man. He doesn't know.
Oh man, this is rough. And we have Morris Presser coming on Tuesday, Alex. This isn't even the worst of it. This is the players and Joe Judge's reaction. We have the owner about to come and talk about his GM, his coach, his players, his fans. It's a trifecta that's about to happen on Tuesday. I mean,
yeah. And what Maro's gonna have to answer for, we have one last clip here. He's gonna have to answer under Joe Judge, have we progressed? And a bit of an answer here from Joe Judge on whether or not we are closer to being a contender than we were not a contender.
How far away or close do you think this team is to being a contender?
Well, I made a statement last week, and when I talk to you guys, I tell you the truth. So I told you last week, I know that we're closer than we are further away. Okay, so I'll leave it at that right there. I know the targets are things we have to fix. We have to get moving in the right direction. I talked last week at length, okay, which I'm sure everybody here's, listened to several times by now. All right, about, the things that are going in the right direction in this program. We have to build on those things. And the things that we have to fix immediately. That's just nature of what it's going to be, guys.
He had one right there in there.
Right there.
Right there. And then also, I guess we can go to the stats now, Alex. So for Washington, I know we said we feel bad for this defense, but Antonio Gibson ran all over this Giants defense. Let's start with Washington. Taylor Heineke, 9 for 18 with 120 yards. Antonio Gibson, 21 carries for 146 yards and 7 yards a carry with a touchdown. Jonathan Williams with 7 carries for 45 yards, and I'll end it there. Terry McLaurin, 4 catches, 93 yards. He always does well against his team. And then for the Bobby McCain, I think that's how you say his name. He had 2 picks in this game. So both picks on Jake Fromm that he threw, he caught both of them. That includes, obviously, the last play of this football game. Jake Fromm went 15 for 31, 103 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. I think I said that already. He ran 5 rushes for 53 yards. Saquon Barkley, 11 carries for 30 yards. Devontae Booker, 8 carries for 14 yards. Oh, and Alex Bachman, 4th down when there was 1 carry for -3 yards. It was a really great non-conversion there by Alex Bachman. Very sarcastic on that. I apologize. Darius Slayton, 2 catches, 29 yards, and a touchdown. He caught Jake Fromm's first career NFL touchdown. And which, by the way, Jake Fromm celebrated like he just won the Super Bowl. He did a chest bump with Saquon Barkley. I mean, I get it. Congratulations.
Leave him alone. It's been tough, okay? It's been
congratulations to the guy, but oh my God. All right. It's painful to watch as a fan.
As a fan, I get it. Yeah, I understand.
Golladay, 3 catches, 22 yards, and Kyle Rudolph, for all that money we paid him in the offseason, he had 4 catches for 17 yards. Alex, I don't know if that repays how much, you paid for him. But then on the defensive side, Lorenzo Carter had a sack. Logan Ryan had a sack. Let's see. Leonard Williams had a sack, like I think we talked about. And I guess Azeez Ojulari maybe was not credited with that sack that I mentioned earlier. Because there was like 3 guys that got to him, but I felt like
Ojulari and Zoe Carter, I think, got
okay. So maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it's still 8 on the season according to his stat line. But it was him and 3 other guys came on. I just thought he would get credited because he was the first one that got his hand on Heineke, but I guess not. Alex, I do want to ask you because I think we were on the phone or we talked about whatever when what's his name? Leonard Williams got the sack. I know you have a thing or two to say about him and his contract that he got this offseason. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, it's good to get him to see him, make some difference in the game, get a sack. I get he had the injury, etc., but we're paying him a lot of money for not a lot of quality on the field, and that's the main problem with Leonard Williams. And we just need to hopefully see more in the future because we're paying him big money, top defensive player in the league money, borderline defensive player of the year money, and we're not really getting that product. I think he's a good player. I do think that. I think he will do better in the future if we just kind of do better. I'm just being hopeful at this point, but definitely not looking like a great signing by Dave Gettleman. But Gettleman had no choice but to sign him because he traded for him. And then what are you going to do? Waste the 3rd and 5th round pick and not re-sign him? It would have been stupid either way. And he chose to save face.
And Alex, just stay with me for 1 second because listen, you're going to say a whole lot of yeses. Ready?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's your first yes. I didn't even mean for that to be part of it. So Leonard Williams, you mentioned we're paying him Defensive Player of the Year money. Is he going to get Defensive Player of the Year this year?
This year or next year?
I'm asking you this year. Is he the Defensive Player of the Year?
No.
Okay.
I don't think he's even top 20.
Okay. Is he a top 3 Defensive Player of the Year?
No, I just said he's not
Is
even
he a
top 20.
5? Oh, you just messed up my whole thing.
Yep.
I would start. God damn it, man. I just realized that.
He's probably like 30. I don't know.
I was going to do a whole thing. I said you were going to do a whole lot of yeses, being sarcastic, and then I was going to say, is he a defensive? Is he a top 3? Is he a top 5? Is he a top 10?
He's not even the Defensive Player of the Year on the Giants. So that would tell you something.
No. That was my point. You kind of stole that away from me. I'm very upset right now. I think it's time. I think it's time to end this one.
I ruined it.
But again, we completed it, Alex. I know you weren't a huge fan of doing this Washington recap, but I thought it was. We had to close it out though. We did all of them.
Yeah.
We can't just skip the last one. So again, we appreciate you listening. Please, if you're watching it, subscribe. Same thing, listening. I know you're able to subscribe. Drop a like and comment. What the hell is wrong with this Giants team? Because there's a lot of things you can go to, but we want to know what you thought. Or what you think is the top priority for them to address this offseason. And then you could do the same thing. You can comment on Apple Podcasts. You go to Apple Podcasts, scroll down to where you can give us a review, and then you could give us 5 stars on there and just write in there what you think this team needs to improve on. The first thing they need to do in the offseason. And as Alex put his hands up going from 1 to 5, you can list 5 things if you want to, because there are 5 things. There's definitely a lot of things that this team can improve on in the offseason. So, Alex, you got any final thoughts? And I can give the plugs.
Just thank you everyone for making it through the season with us. It's been a tough ride, and hopefully next year will be much better. And it's been, as much as it's not been a good season for the Giants, there's been a nice progression for us, at least throughout the year. So that was it's been fun talking about the Giants for sure, even despite how bad we are doing.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's something we definitely need to do, and this was the last game of the season, so we do like to send a thank you from both of us to everyone listening and watching. It's been a fun season, although it's been very bad performance-wise. The support has been great, and starting up the YouTube and like how that's grown throughout the season has been great too. So everyone watching on YouTube, we thank you for that. And a bunch of content, like I said, coming out. I just want to get through the plugs first, and I'm going to get to the specifics of what we're heading towards this week. I know we kind of talked about it in vaguely. I'll talk to that more concretely in a second. So you can follow us on Twitter at The Giant Take Pod. We are on Instagram, The Giant Take Podcast. Same thing with Facebook. It's the same name. Just type in The Giant Take Podcast. And then TikTok, The Giant Take Pod on there as well. You can go follow Alex on Twitter at Anorian23. I'm on Twitter at JoshSolo29. Subscribe again wherever, like, review, 5 stars, all that good stuff. And then you can go to shipitstudios.com/thegianttake. That is shipitstudios.com/thegianttake. On there, it's all the links where you can listen and watch. You can find out everything there. And we would appreciate it if you did so. So talking about the content for the following week, we don't know specific days, but we have specific topics. So if I might have said earlier in this episode, part 2 is coming out, but I don't know if we're doing that just yet. So if I was the GM of the New York Giants, part 1 is going to be coming out sometime early this week. We hope to have the Gettleman retirement decision official or whatever it is sooner than later, hopefully tomorrow on Black Monday. And that video will be coming out to you. I also hope to do a part 2, like I said, playoff edition of the NFL Power Rankings that I did last week. Please go check that out if you haven't already. And then we're going to do Alex has a point. 1 second, Alex. We're going to do
I was just I was just pointing to where the link to the video was, which is up
Oh,
there. There we go.
in the corner. Yeah, whatever. And then, so lost my train of thought. Now we're also going to do, for everyone listening audio wise, we're going to do the season recap. Plus, we're going to tie it in with something, how the Giants can improve in the future, or look at GM candidates, depending on if the Gettleman news is out already. And that will come to you most likely midweek. Just know that we're definitely going to have a podcast within the next week, because we have to do our NFL picks, man. We have to see who's right and who's wrong, and look towards the playoffs and the wild card round. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Alex, without further ado.
It's weird to say it this episode. Thank you, everyone, for listening to today's episode of the Giant Take podcast. And we won't see you after for another Giants preview, but we will see you hopefully after the firing or the retirement of Dave Gettleman. And hopefully some big changes are coming soon, and that'll all happen, or at least start to happen, before our next episode. We'll see everyone next time. Peace.